Hello out there and welcome to Public Conscience. This is the anti-corruption program produced by the Progressive Impact Organization for Community Development, PRIMOG. PRIMOG is a civil society group with a mandate to promote good governance, participation, and accountability in Nigeria. I am Adaobi Obiabomo with Chidozie Ubunaya.
Welcome to the program, and we are streaming live on Facebook at Official PRIMOG. PRIMOG is spelled P-R-I-M-O-R-G.
On Public Conscience on Radio, we seek to evolve a corruption-free society through the amplification of corruption stories reported by our partner media organizations and drawing citizens and government attention for democratic actions against it. This program is supported by the MacArthur Foundation. And on today's program, we will continue to beam the searchlight on revelations coming from Constituency project tracking.
Last week on this show, we started off with the second phase tracking of Constituency project by the Independent Corrupt Practices and Other Related Offense Commission, ICPC. It will be recalled that ICPC in 2019 launched the pilot phase of the Constituency project tracking, followed by a second phase in 2020, with shocking revelations taking center stage in both exercises.
We have the Assistant Commissioner, Constituency and Executive Project Tracking of the Commission, Mr. Jimo Suleiman, who disclosed that the Commission recovered 2 rigs, over 1,000 water pumps, hillocks and box raging cards, 2,300 bags of fertilizer, transformers, sewing machines, water treatment plants in private farms, television sets, refrigerators, beds and beddings, 57 units of computer, and 19 units of generator during the second phase of the project tracking.
Suleiman also accused lawmakers and their aides of abating fraud and inhibiting the execution of constituency projects in some instances. And apart from ICPC, many other organizations have independently gone on fact-finding missions to track constituency projects in Nigeria.
We will be looking at an investigation by Premium Times on how a federal government agency in collaboration with a former lawmaker diverted boreholes to ex-head of state residents, lawmakers' farms, while the members of the community drink from the stream. For better understanding, we have in the studio Ijoma Okereke. She's the Program Executive, Premium Times Center for Investigative Journalism. Welcome to the program.
Thank you very much.
And we will also have a lecturer of journalism from the Lagos State University, Dr. Tunde Akani, who will be joining us via the phone line.
Dr. Tunde Akani is the technical advisor to the MacArthur Foundation CITAD initiative of the Social Influencers Accountability Group. He will join us via phone. And let's begin the conversation with Ijoma Okereke. Welcome once again to the program.
Thank you very much.
Give us an overview of your investigation and tell us what Premium Times found, what you uncovered during the investigation.
Okay, thank you very much. Let me commend PRIMOG for this awesome work they're doing in Nigeria. And just like you've introduced me, I'm Ijoma Okereke, and I work with Premium Times Center for Investigative Journalism under the UDEME project. We understand that the UDEME project is a social accountability project that tracks developmental projects across Nigeria to ensure that funds that are released for this project are actually implemented. So part of what we do is also to track constituency projects, which we began as far back as 2018, but we've been able to track projects way back as 2015. This year, we're able to track a project in Ogun State that was nominated by a former House of Rep member, Mr. Shegun Williams, who represented Abeokuta South Federal Constituency from 2011 to 2019. That was after the election. Someone else defeated him at the polls. So this project was a 20 million naira project that was supposed to be for the construction of 12 boreholes in Abeokuta South Federal Constituency. And the agency that was supervising this work was the Ogun Ocean River Basin Development Authority, ORBDA. So when we started this investigation, we had to reach out to the agency because one of the things we discovered about constituency projects is that there are no clear descriptions of projects on the document. So we reached out to the agency through the Freedom of Information Act, and we asked them for locations of the project, the 12 boreholes they are expected to actually construct with the 20 million naira. When they responded to us, they gave us locations of 6 projects out of the 12. They also said that the managing director said that only 50% fund was released. So he said that 50% was released for the project. That's like 10 million naira because 50% of 20 million naira is 10 million naira, which was supposed to construct 12 boreholes, but they ended up. Okay, no problem.
We have him on the program. Dr. Tunde Akani, welcome to Public Conscience on Radio. What do you think about constituency projects in the country since return to democratic rule in 1999?
It's the most fraudulent creation by the political class.
Most fraudulent.
Hello?
We can hear you. Go ahead.
It is the most fraudulent creation by the political class, especially the elected ones who have been in the National Assembly since then. When you talk about National Assembly or when you talk about the legislature, there is a clear meaning that emerges immediately. And that is the fact that those who are members of the legislature, are there to take up the huge challenge of formulating laws to cope with the existing civilizational manifestations and the anticipated ones. Now, what you discover is that those who have been in the National Assembly since 1999 have been more concerned with their personal pockets. They have been more concerned with the enrichment of their personal pockets far more than improving on the lawmaking process for the rest of us who have gone through all of the troubles to elect them into power. What is the business of legislators constructing gutters, constructing toilets, and so on and so forth, when we have the executive, generously comprising the head, the president or the governor, as the case may be, or the chairperson of the local government, who is supposed to appoint into relevant positions different aides in form of ministers and commissioners and heads of departments and agencies. What is he supposed to do other than to see to infrastructural development? But this is what these idlers in the National Assembly have been trying to appropriate to themselves by coming up with this idea of constituency project. It's sheer balderdash, rubbish. It is the most fraudulent creation of strategy that the political class has come up with.
Doctor, are you saying that we can't look at the constituency project and say there are positives coming from it? Because we've seen communities develop sometimes through constituency projects. So, but you are giving a complete you are saying completely is rubbish. Are you saying there are no positive for us to draw from it?
Personally, I cannot attribute any positive development to that to this constituency constituency project thing. What are we doing with the councillor? What are we doing with the local government? So somebody must come from Abuja to come and construct big toilets for us at the grassroots level. Do they even come home? Once they get elected, the good number of them just stay put in Abuja. And they don't come back as such until it is time for re-election. That's why they keep stocking up things in their country homes. Of course, I'm sure you are living witness to what recently happened when, I'm not in support of violence. I will never support violence. But when the people are pushed to the wall, you may not be able to predict what their reaction will be. Look at what happened during the recent, after the NSAS protest. And, governors have to impose curfews and then people felt, this actually is too much. We have not recovered from the lockdown of COVID-19. Now you are coming up with another curfew. And people trooped out, after discovering that they had thought of palliatives, COVID-19 palliatives in some locations. People went out and started, breaking into warehouses and homes of some senators.
Dr. Kani, I'll have to cut you short there. Please, I want to ask, does it mean that there's no good intention from the original plan of constituency projects?
Okay, let me answer your question rhetorically. You are a journalist and you work for your news medium. Tell me what will be your business in helping a politician to polish his or her image when, as a matter of fact, what you are supposed to primarily engage with is reporting in the interest of the people. The only thing that would have pushed you into helping a politician to polish up his or her image is the antecedent pecuniary benefits. Now, if you go around the country, you find out how these constituency projects are being carried. I'm sure by the time you are done with your tour, you won't be able to score them beyond 2/10. And let me share one very striking example with you. Following the inception of the UBE, Universal Basic Education Commission, are you listening?
We can hear you, sir.
Following the inception of the Universal Basic Education Commission, the federal government has had this policy of, voting a lot of money for all of the states. And then each of the states will have to provide some counterpart funding to actually demonstrate very strongly that they are interested in developing their basic education facilities. Do you know that for all the years that Fatai Ahmed, the former governor of Kwara State, spent in office, he didn't pay much attention to providing the counterpart funding. This was revealed on the Twitter handle of the sitting governor recently.
Okay, let's stay with the constituency project.
Because he was not willing to provide any counterpart funding. If the free money will have been provided like that, of course they will have jumped at it, and then you discover that nothing will have been done at the end of the day.
Okay, so we've heard you. Let's stay with the constituency project tracking and the corruption in the execution of the project. Citizens appear to be helpless. What are we not doing right as citizens to get value for money set aside for this project? And what will you advise to citizens? What will be your advice to citizens?
Well, unfortunately, this constituency project has come to be for now. But one of the things that I think we need to do is to get properly organized.
When you say properly organized, what do you mean?
Yes, I'm going to explain. I'm a civil society activist, and we expect civil civil society organizations at the grassroots level to properly organize, especially having had to experience this NSAS campaign. Now Nigeria should not be the same again. People are taking the risk to come out to tell the guys in government that look, you are not getting anything right. And this country is going down. Now look at it. All of the news that we keep getting are most depressing. 2-3 days ago, there was this revelation that over 2 billion got paid into the account of directors of that ministry that Fashola oversees. About a week or two ago, the railway line project from Lagos to Ibadan, which Amechi told us had been 90% completed. The same minister came out to say that we need another loan of over $600 million. These are clear cases of case of reckless, of financial recklessness. We cannot look, unfortunately, now look at the incident in Dubai.
So what you want citizens to do is to properly organize.
How many Nigerians? I'm coming. So all of these things keep mounting. So what can we do? Now civil society organizations must keep on documenting all of this. And we must be ready to confront the guys in the legislature. That look, we no longer have any trust from you. Some of the things that we take some exception to is particularly, one of them particularly is the constituency project. Leave this thing to those who are supposed to do it. And then we know who exactly we need to tackle. Because as it is, things are just multiplying with the inception of this constituency project thing.
And who are those who are supposed to execute the project?
The executive arm of government, we have ministers, we have commissioners, who are managing different portfolios. So let us concentrate on those ones. We know there are thieves in those offices too. But let us not keep multiplying thieves, because the political class now in Nigeria is heavily overpopulated by thieves. And it is dangerous for us to keep allowing multiplication of thieves. So we need to put a stop to this idea of constituency project.
Thank you.
It's a terrible window for wastage.
Thank you so much, Dr. Tunde Akani, Technical Advisor to the MacArthur Foundation. Thank you so much for your submission.
You're welcome.
Yes, we just heard from Dr. Tunde Akani, and we'll get back to Ijoma Okereke in the studio here. You were on a thought before we took that phone call.
Oh yes. I'll make a few comments to what he said, but that's after I just finish explaining.
It's okay.
Yes. Okay. So as I was saying, we had reached out to the lawmaker for the locations of the projects which he nominated for his people, but he directed us to the agency, which we did. Remember, I said it was ORBDA. So when the agency responded to us, they mentioned...
for the benefit of the listener, can you tell us the name of the lawmaker again?
Okay, his name is Honorable Shegun Williams. He represented Abeokuta South Federal Constituency 2011 to 2019.
All right, please go ahead.
So the agency said that 50% of the fund, 20 million naira, was what was released. And they were able to use that amount released to execute 6 projects instead of 12 that was stated in the budget. So we were able to get these 6 locations, except that 3 were well detailed and 3 were not well detailed. So we were not able to trace 3 out of the 6 that were provided. But we were able to trace the other 3, and we discovered that one was situated in the house of a former president of Nigeria, or former head of state of Nigeria, that is Mr. Ernest Shonikon. And 2 was now situated in the house of that lawmaker.
Please take
or
that
farm.
One was situated in the house
of the
head of state.
Yes, Shonikon. And then the other one, 2 of the 3 that we discovered, was situated in the farm of the former lawmaker, Honorable Shegun Williams. So Interestingly, how we were able to discover this was when we asked for the available borehole in the community, because we understand that the community were fetching water from stream when there was borehole, and these boreholes were constructed in such a way that the community members don't have access to them. So you understand that even in rural communities, they usually use drink borehole water, and they use the stream to wash and do other petty chores at home, but they were not having access at all. And the agency now said that it was based on the directive of the lawmaker, and they were trying to pay a certain homage, or it was a privilege for the past president to have some of these benefits. So you can imagine that, in fact, what we also found out was that, contrary to what the MD had said, that 50% was released, it was actually 70% that was released. Not 10 million, it was 14 million that was released for the construction of 20 million. And they were able to implement 6 according to them, even though we were not able to trace 3 because there were no locations given, and then we were able to find the other 2. So you can see that, just like what the speaker had said, that although there are some things he highlighted that I may disagree.
Just before you get onto that, because I will really have to let you talk about what the speaker, Dr. Akani, said. Did you try to reach out, have personal, ask Dr. Ernest Shenekon and the lawmaker? Did you get their take?
Yes. If you actually read the report, you will see that the lawmaker was saying that it was none of our business to be asking him such questions about the project he had implemented, that we are just a media house. So why are we coming after him and asking him such questions? And he didn't provide those information. It was a very detailed report.
In your report, let me just quote it the way it is. You mentioned that Mr. Odumosu, who is the MD of Osun River Basin Development Authority, confirmed that the borehole meant for the public use was sited at the residence of Mr. Shonekan because he requested for it. And according to Mr. Odumoshu, the agency could not deny the former head of state the privilege, in quotes, because he is one of Nigeria's past presidents. I know that past presidents are entitled to allowances and all of that.
Of course.
Is it in the provision? Is it in the provision of the law that qualifies Mr. Shonekan to have this privilege?
No.
A facility meant for public to be sited in his house for his personal use.
I don't see where it was stated, or where it has been stated that constituency projects should be part of the privileges of former presidents or lawmakers. In fact, we're even still trying to find where constituency project is stated in the constitution, or which document is actually backing up the implementation of a constituency project in the first place. Because what we understand is that sometime in 1999, some of the lawmakers met the head of the National Assembly and said that they needed to be implementing constituency projects. But we've not found any, constitutional document to see where this scheme is even backed up. So,
but on a more serious note here, Dr. Ernest Shonekan, our former head of state, did he request that this project be sited in his compound?
Our reporter found out that was the claim that was made, that he requested. The agency said that. But you know that in my own understanding, it will be impossible for this man to request for such project without the approval or understanding of the lawmaker, because they work hand in hand. And that tells you the kind of influence that lawmakers are having in constituency project implementation. Ideally, their role is just to supervise. They're not supposed to even have any hand in it. They are meant to just supervise. That's why it's the executive to implement this project. But you see situations where a lot of corrupt practices are happening. A lawmaker will be in the whole process of implementing the project and even dictating to them where this project should be situated. These locations were not even in Abeokuta South Federal Constituency. They were in the north, I think, if you see the reports. So that's the influence that lawmakers have in this implementation, which should not be the case, as we're saying.
Well, according to your investigation, the community is impoverished. Also, for the fact that it is already in the budget, if I would say that
zonal intervention project.
That this project has been zoned to them and completed. What is the implication of this for the community?
We're already seeing the implication. They don't have water. That's the implication. They don't have water. And that's also points out to the fact of points us to the point where we see that community need to always be aware or knowledgeable about some of these things, because it is the knowledge that they have that they can use to actually demand accountability from their lawmakers or even from the agency implementing it. One time we had a situation where a community was dictating the work of a contractor, dictating in the sense that they were monitoring what the contractor was doing because they know that this was supposed to be in their community, and they were watching to see that that was adequately or effectively implemented. So these people I'm not sure they were even aware that this project was supposed to be for them. They're just looking for a way to see how they can even go to the farm or to the house of the former president and get drinkable water.
I got a little bit emotional when I read part of the report where a resident of the village said that he's in his mid-20s, said that he has never drunk water from a tap since he was born.
That the borehole that was there stopped working 18 years ago.
18 years ago. 18
years ago.
That means these people are susceptible to different kind of diseases. Diarrhea could be
cholera,
one of them.
A lot of things. You know how you see the color of this stream water, very dirty, but somehow they're able to survive by taking all of these things, which should not be the case.
Okay, it's time for you listening to this program to join the conversation. We've been speaking with Ijoma Okereke of Premium Times, and we also got in touch with Dr. Tunde Akani, who is a technical advisor to the MacArthur Foundation. Josie?
Yeah, please follow us on our social media platform at Official Primorg. And once again, Primorg is spelled Primorg.
Please subscribe to get reminders when we have a new post. And remember that this program is interactive. The WhatsApp phone line to send your message to is 0902 265 6167. That is 0902 265 6167. Please, this number is for messages only. You can begin to send your message. How much do you know about constituency projects? And have you been tracking constituency projects near you? Ichoma, back to you. In the course of tracking this constituency project, did you try to reach out to community members aside from the person Dozie just mentioned?
Yes, one of the things we do at Udeme is that whenever we visit such community, because you understand that PTCIJ is a media and also a civil society organization. So what we do whenever we visit these locations is to ensure that we kind of sensitize the members of the community we're able to interact with. So when we're asking them these questions, okay, when do you guys have a borehole in your community? Do you know you're supposed to have a borehole in your community? And you know, in rural communities, when they see a very strange face, one strange face, and you're talking to one of them, 2 others will come or 3 others will come. They are very sensitive to strangers. So when you visit these locations and you're asking them, when was this done? Do you guys have so and so project in your community? They start narrating how the one they had was messed up, blah, blah, blah. And then we use that opportunity. One thing we do at Udeme is to tell them, okay, this project was supposed to have been done so and so period. Was anything like this done? And they are really very sharp with time. They know when so many things were done in their community. They will tell you, no, it was this other person that did this one. It was the state government that did this one. And I'll be like, when last did you guys visit see your lawmaker? Do you know about the constituency office of your lawmaker? They will say it was only during election and that was it.
So
it didn't tell you that
offices in those communities.
Their offices are a bit even far from them. It may be situated in the town of the community. Some don't even have constituency offices. Some lawmakers. And that was what the speaker was trying to say, that how will somebody from Abuja be going to a village to implement a project? Why don't we give it to the local government or to the state government to implement those projects instead of wasting our available resources? That was the point he was trying to make there.
And I believe that forms part of the problems or challenges with constituency projects.
There's a very wide gap
out there. But can you throw more light on the challenges you faced? Because you had, will I call it altercation with the lawmaker? Yeah.
Of course.
So tell us more about that.
Okay, so he was asking us about the altercation we had with lawmaker. I think that was very detailed there in the report. But It was all that we needed to get from him. The lawmaker said that we were winch hunting him, and because we called to ask him questions, because it is his constituency, you should know about the implementation of this project. But he said it was a winch. He said, why are you tracking government project? What is the benefit? What is the benefit? Premium Times is not a government agency. Who owns Premium Times? Where is your publisher from? Are you a journalist by profession? What did you read? He asked all of these questions angrily. We only asked about the status of his project. From the tone of that
message, it does appear that the lawmaker was upset.
He was upset. And you know, because of these constituency project tracking,
but it's the right of citizens to ask questions.
Of course it is. And we are also citizens. We are asking questions. This was supposed to have been done. This was supposed to be done. But this is what we are finding. What is your reaction to it? And you will be expecting something like sort of a commitment to say, okay, I will want to go and find out. That would be kind of soft, even though we know that we've heard those kind of statements so many times and nothing is done. But at least own up to the fact that you nominated this project in 2018 and this is what we found out and this is what the community is experiencing. What are you going to do about it? Even though you're not in the house again, at least make a step to ensure that so and so project, borehole project, water project are carried out in your community. Okay. But we got the other response at the end of the day.
Let's switch gear a little bit, because you are in the business of tracking, and this is not the only project you've tracked over time. So looking at this, do you think we are getting value for massive money we will put into constituency project?
No, I don't think we are getting massive value the way you put it.
No, we've been investing massively.
We're not getting value.
We're not getting value.
Yes, we're not getting value. It's only out of 10 projects to be implemented, you probably find one that was well done and in use. And that's no value. That's no value. Because you put in a lot of money, even though there's always the claim that not much funds were released. But the ones that were released, what are we seeing from it? We're not seeing much. Schools are in dilapidated conditions. There are no boreholes, or even when they are implemented, you hear stories like they stopped working 3 months after implementation. Then what was done? Is that value for money? You do something, after 3 months it breaks down. You build a house and it collapses after 3 months. That is not value for money. So I don't think there's any value for money. Even though this scheme should be complementing the efforts of the federal and the state governments. But we're not seeing that. We had done a report in Kwara State how projects that were facilitated by the former president of the Senate was actually helping in Kwara State. That was a good report. And we're not in the business of trying to promote only the bad reports. We promoted that one so that this is what is happening. And if this is what is seen in other spheres or other sectors of other states, then it will be a good thing. Everybody will be happy that constituency project is implemented in their community. And they will like the scheme, they will buy it for him. But when you call anybody now to ask them about constituency project, they will tell you that it is a cesspool of corruption, and that people are using that avenue to steal money. Because there's actually no value for money.
Cesspool of corruption. And looking at it critically, you understand that constituency projects have come to stay.
That is what we are saying.
And the corruption in it is also looking like it has come to stay. So from your findings and everything, who are those? Because you look very well, you see that an agency of the government was also indicted in your report. You understand?
The lawmaker too.
What is fueling corruption in this constituency project execution?
There are a lot of issues that have been associated with constituency projects. We can even start from the simple basics of needs assessment. That is, citizens not even having a say in the projects that are nominated by their representatives. That is, if at all they even get to have a one-on-one interaction with their representative, which is the reason why they are even in the National Assembly in the first place. So these projects nominated sometimes do not even meet the needs of the community. You are putting a borehole, whereas there are probably 10 boreholes in that community. They don't have good road. Why not go and ask them, which one do you want? Is it road or borehole? Whatever they make their decision to, if it's a road or a school, you do it according to their own desires. And one of the important things of consulting the citizens before carrying out a project or facilitating the project as a lawmaker is that the citizens take ownership of this project. they collectively said this is what we want, and they will collectively protect it because they know it is their money and it is their resources and it is for their own good. So if citizens take ownership of this project, we will not be having all these issues of I built. Some lawmakers will say they were able to construct a borehole or something like that, or solar borehole, and it was stolen. Why will it be stolen if it was for the people? That was because they don't even care about it. They were not even informed. They just came one day and they saw things being done in their community.
And in some cases, some of these lawmakers make the citizens believe that these constituency projects are donations to their constituents. Meanwhile, it is not so. Since this report was released, the security agencies, have they done anything about this?
That is the anti-graft.
Anti-corruption agencies.
Anti-graft agencies.
Yes, so because you mentioned ICPC being here last week, and we know we are part of the steering committee as well for that constituency project or executive project tracking group. So one of the things that we did was to also send them this report, because as members of the steering committee, we should be able to have access to them in terms of relating our findings to them, which was one of the things they made open to us, that we should always submit some of this report to them, and we did that. So we're still waiting to see how this process turns out. But it's our hope that ICPC takes it up, because you can see how many projects or many contractors or lawmakers are mobilizing back to site, trying to fix one or two things because of the intervention of anti-corruption agencies, which they know may tarnish their images if nothing is done. So they're trying to run helter-skelter to fix one or two things. We're hoping that this too will be one of the impact we'll be recording from this investigation.
Impact. And it's interesting that we're having them move their bodies, change what they're doing, trying to fix what they've messed up, because it's our money, it's national, it's the wealth of the nation that is going down the drain. And you were on a thought earlier, you wanted to pick up on what Dr. Akani said.
From my understanding, he probably was standing for a complete overhaul of constituency projects, the way he sounded like there was no need for it.
Do you share that view?
There is need for it, but there is need for scrutiny, for I don't know how to put it, but constant or a very close monitoring of the process that has not been done since the day constituency project started in Nigeria.
Citizens should be carried along from the planning
Citizens
stage.
And anti-corruption agencies must be watchful of the process. Details of constituency projects are actually a publicly available documents, but we know that in rural communities we don't have people who can actually read or write.
Please hold on, let's take this. Hello? What's your name again? Let's hear you, please.
Sorry, please, I just want to document an inquiry. To get details of this constituency project, maybe from 1999 to today, which agencies of government do one right to, needs to write to maybe National Assembly to ask for details of this project, so that we can begin to track the one that belongs to our constituency.
Thank you so much. Just listen, I'll read out the number for you. Hello?
My name is Wasi. I'm calling from Maripa.
Go ahead.
Please, I want to know if they have confirmed for the governor, the former president, why is he contact the bomb of the state to your personal use?
We didn't get that. Could you please repeat that?
Please, I want to know whether they have confirmed for the former president that please confirm the personal pump they are supposed to use for the state for your personal use.
Okay.
Yeah,
you got that?
I got the question, but our report actually failed to state that, and that's a very interesting point that he raised there. We spoke with the agency, the contractor, but then we would have loved to find out why he requested for it, as the agency had claimed. Yes.
So, is there any could whatever, for whatever reason, will it be cogent, because this project was not meant to be in his compound.
In the first place, actually. Yes.
And from your report, you did mention that the house is not accessible to the public.
It is not accessible.
So what's the need?
In fact, how we were able to get the contact of the lawmaker was we had to act like as an investor in his farm, and we met somebody that was there managing the farm, and that was how he was able to reach out to his oga, and then we had his number.
And the altercation.
And then that happened, yes.
Okay, for the person who called earlier, I'm asking for numbers to call to find out about the constituency project. You could call 0800 call ICPC, which translates to 0800 2255 4272. I'll take that again. 0800 2255 4272. It's a 12-digit number. The numbers we know are usually 11, but this is a 12-digit number, so it's correct. When you call ICPC, they will tell you more about your constituency project. Or you can also write to Primorg, info@primorg.org. info@primorg.org. Primorg is spelled PRIMORG. We can still accommodate 1 or 2 more calls. Hello.
Hello. You asked an initial question that is it important for is it necessary that the lawmaker should be the one doing the constitutional project? I want to say no. The project, they are the lawmakers, they are not contractors. If they are lawmakers, they should concentrate in making the law and allow the local government, the state government, the chairman and the whatever to do what they are supposed to do. By the time you invest another power of what the lawmakers, you will then be concentrating in making laws or making constitutional projects. You understand? It's like we're giving them more responsibility than they should pay. The business is to make law. It's not to go into any constitutional project.
Thank you so much for your submission. Their job is to make law and not to execute zonal intervention projects.
Very true. Very true. Their job is to make laws. And when she talked about contractors, they are not contractors. You can see that one of the reasons why they even interfere in the process because sometimes they have their own agents, their own contracting firm.
They float their companies and bring them in.
Try to put them, lobby the contract to favor them so that they can carry out this project. It's very important for citizens or those who are knowledgeable in communities to see ways through which they can be able to break down the zonal intervention projects for members of their constituencies so that they can be able to understand it. The document is written in English. Why do we have CSOs? Why do we have some of these even the media in the rural communities, which is part of what we're working on to see how we can be able to break down zonal intervention projects into local languages so that they can be able to read it in their own understanding and make sense out of what they are seeing and use this information that they have to be able to hold their lawmakers accountable.
Thank you so much. Breaking this project into local languages that it could be accessible and understandable to the citizens at the grassroots. That's a very good one, Ijoma.
Thank you very much.
And, Ijoma, citizens' awareness is key in all this discussion we have.
Like Dr. Akani said, that citizens should properly organize themselves and be able to hold their legislators to account.
And we need to help them because sometimes they don't know how to go about it. And that is why we're here to help them.
Definitely. Thank you so much. Just send us a text message also 0902-265-6167 or you write to info@primorg.org.
Visit the news page of our website news.primorg.org. That is news.primorg.org. For all the details of our report and interviews, visit our website primorg.org to get all the information about Primorg.
We appreciate our guests, Ijoma Okereke, Program Executive at Premium Times Center for Investigative Journalism. Thank you so much for being a part of this program.
Thank you.
And also to Tunde Akani, who joined us from Lagos. He is a journalist and lecturer at Lagos State University. Public conscience is supported by the John T. and Catherine V. MacArthur Foundation, committed to building a more just, vibrant, and peaceful world. Get more information about the foundation at its website, macfound.org.
Do well to join us again here next week for another interesting episode of Public Conscience. And remember to follow us on our Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram at Official Primark. I am Chidozie Obunnaya.
Official Primark is our social media handle. Do well to follow us and subscribe to get reminders when we have a new post. And as citizens, it is your duty to hold government to account. I am Adaobi Obiabumo. Stay safe.